Hi folks, Colin here, back with more rock and roll. Good to see you. And today we're going to talk about the Nashville numbering system, the chord numbering system. Now this only really came to my attention the other day. I was playing a gig in Glasgow at the Opry, and I was backstage speaking to this pedal steel guitar player, and we were talking about a song, and I was describing the chord progression, and I was saying it was I can't remember what it was, a 1-6-4-5 or a 1-4-5 or something like that. And the guy was amazed. He said, "Oh, you mean the Nashville numbering system? I've never heard a guitar player describe chords in that way before." And I was kind of surprised, because I thought everyone did that, but apparently not. And it just occurs to me that sometimes things that you think everyone else knows, they don't know, and maybe it's worth actually just talking a little bit about that system today, because if you do get the hang of this, it's quite helpful to unlock how the guitar works, and it demystifies a lot of stuff on the guitar and makes your life a lot easier. Because if you learn the Nashville chord numbering system, generally speaking, you only have to learn things once, and then you can apply it in any key. And the basic principle is very simple. There's no kind of mystery to it. Basically, instead of naming the chords by the name of the chord itself, so say I was playing a C chord here, I would say, right, okay, it's in the key of C, so that C would be the 1 chord. So I'd regard that as the 1. And then all the other chords in the scale, I would kind of tend to refer to them by their number. So if C is the 1, the D minor would be 2, E minor would be 3, F would be 4, G would be 5, A minor would be 6, and then B diminished would be 7. I don't tend to play the diminished chords that often like that. And then the C back to 1 again. And usually my trick is I generally play a minor chord rather than a diminished chord if I'm doing sort of double stops, and that makes life an awful lot easier. That's another trick, folks. I've spoken about that in videos before, but it's technically not quite musically correct, but it sounds correct, and that's all that matters to me. So I mean, I do play diminished chords from time to time, but anyway. So the great thing about that is, if you learn a chord progression, so you say you learn the classic 1-4-5, so in the key of C, that would be C, F, and G. And that's fine, but when your singer says, well, I'm going to put a capo on the 2nd fret, so I'm playing it in the key of C but on the 2nd fret, then if you know the Nashville numbering system, you can take that principle of a 1-4-5 and you can just move up 2 frets. So D is now the 1, G is the 4, and A is the 5. And it means transposing is so much easier, because you get to know the relationship of the chords with one another rather than having to know the names of the chords. And again, that's so helpful, because suddenly it's more about how the intervals work on the fretboard rather than what the actual names of the chords are and what the notes are necessarily. So you can learn things in different keys at the same time. Automatically you can apply that information. And the other interesting thing about, once you understand how these things work, is you can start to apply it to scales as well, because it's the same sort of concept of numbers that we're applying to chords also applies to scales. So and the scales have the same kind of harmonies as the chords, and chords and scales, you suddenly realise, are kind of the same thing. So the 1, 4 and 5 are all major, so if you're in the key of C, C would be major, F would be major, G would be major. The 2, the 3 and the 6 are minor. So when you're playing solos and things like that, you can think of your notes as chords. So that means it makes double stops much easier. So if I'm playing over, for example, a C, I can play play the other notes of the scale over the C chord. So I'm playing a C1, so that's my little C, top part of the chord, and then I've got my D minor, little triad E minor, so that's your 2 and your 3. So that's just, I'm just making that up, but it's to demonstrate the idea. So if that's a little riff I like, I can move that up. So now if I move up to the D, D becomes a 1. So, and the same information applies. And what you discover is, it doesn't matter where you are, these principles apply. So if I'm playing my D shape, D is my 1 major, E minor is my 2, so I'm using my D minor shape, F sharp minor is my 3, G is my 4, so I'm going back to the D shape, and A is my 5, A, yep. So that's kind of the same riff, but using a different shape. So you can just use sort of parts of the triad, parts of the chord, and just think of it as 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. Oop. Thinking and speaking and playing at the same time is a wee bit tricky. So all these ideas are interchangeable, if you know what I mean. So if I play an A, I'm playing out my B minor, C sharp minor, which is the 1, the 2, the 3. D's my 4, E's my 5. And I can use parts of that triad. So and you can start making little tunes. So you hear this sort of thing. That type of thing all the time. All we're just doing is just playing little parts of the chord and just thinking of 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, or do the 2 strings. And all I'm thinking about is just thinking of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So again, you know, if I want to do that kind of thing and move it up to E, 1 is now the D shape on the 4th fret. Got my minor shape above it, which is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you hear that kind of thing in rockabilly all the time. All that sort of stuff. So I hope that's helpful. I don't like to make these videos too long, but basically just start to think of the chords in numbers and think of the scales as mini chords, and you will find that really unlocks the guitar. It allows you to transpose into other keys and allows you to make solos up on the fly very easily. Okay folks, that's it for this week. See you next time.